Cubs prospect Moises Ballesteros is on fire. Let's discuss on Fantasy Baseball Today Express. Welcome into FBT Express and welcome to May. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Scott White. Even before we get to the prospects to stash, Scott, I know someone that you want to talk about is Cubs prospect Moises Ballesteros, who is currently batting over 400 in the minors. The question, how can he fit with the Cubs?
It's a big question because he is kind of the trendy hitting prospect right now, the one who's grabbing all the headlines, the one who's having a performance so big at AAA that he's gone from, kind of an interesting prospect to the one I think everybody's going to obsess over for a while. Moises Ballesteros added to a 16-game hitting streak with 2 home runs on a Wednesday. That brings his batting average to 402 on the year. The exit velocities are great. He struck out 11% of the time, and the strikeouts have always been low in the minors. Great line drive rates, good opposite field rate, just a really good hit tool for Ballesteros. And now he's showing pretty good power as well. He's built like a bowling ball. He's 5'8". He's over 200 pounds. It seems like catcher's the only, obviously he has to have the reflexes for it, but that seems like the only position where realistically he fits. And I don't know if you've noticed with the Cubs, but they have a crowded catcher situation already. They wanted to give Miguel Amaya a lot of at-bats, but Carson Kelly, journeyman that he is, he's looked like Mickey Mantle so far, so he's needed his playing time too. And there just doesn't seem to be a path for Ballesteros. First base, he has also played, but again, he's 5'8", so that doesn't really seem like a place that you'd want him to wind up. I have had the thought, what if with Matt Shaw not working out at third base, they have a glaring hole there? Why not slide Michael Busch back over there? He has plenty of experience at third base as a professional, and then maybe stick Ballesteros at first base. But again, you get dealing with the height issue there, and I don't know that they really want to take the defensive hit at third base with Busch. So I don't know what they're going to do. Craig Counsell has basically said there's no room for him, and they just hope he keeps hitting well. So I think that's where things stand with Ballesteros. That's why, for as much as he's worth discussing right now, I can't put him in the 5 on the verge, because without some kind of injury at the right spot on the diamond, there just doesn't seem to be a place for him.
Well, let's talk about those 5 prospects on the verge. And we have Bubba Chandler with the Pirates, Roman Anthony with the Red Sox, Logan Henderson with the Brewers, Jordan Lawler with the D-backs, and Matt Shaw with the Cubs. Scott, I would say of these names, Chandler, Anthony, and Lawler are the ones we get questions about the most, when we could potentially see those names.
Yeah, and I don't think either, but they're in the on the verge segment. I don't think any of them are quite on the verge as in getting called up tomorrow. I guess Logan Henderson would come the closest, because Freddie Peralta's a mainstay in the Brewers rotation, of course. I think Jose Quintana's job is pretty secure. But apart from that, I mean, we just saw Tobias Myers removed after 2 innings. He was probably the 3rd safest in the rotation, and I don't think he's that safe. Henderson, of course, already looked great in the 1 start he got, 9 strikeout effort. He went back down to AAA through 6 one-hit innings there. So he seems like he could be back in short order. I do sense with Bubba Chandler, who again I have now is more stashable than Henderson because the upside is higher. And I do get the sense that we're getting close. The sky is about to open up here for Chandler, because it just Paul Skeens is commenting on the possibility at this point. There's just a lot more chatter about it, and he continues to pitch well at AAA. And at some point when there's that much chatter, it just all comes to a head. Just a week ago, Pirates GM Ben Cherington said they would begin to build him up in earnest once we get into May. Well, we're just now into May. So that's why I don't think he's getting called up like tomorrow. They haven't started building him up in earnest yet, according to their own GM. So I think at least a couple more turns at AAA, maybe a schedule more like we saw from Paul Skeens last year. May 11th is when he made his debut. So I think we'll be talking about Chandler as part of this list next week too. Roman Anthony, he remember for a couple weeks he couldn't play the outfield because of a sore shoulder. And then he missed a couple days last week with a bruised foot. He's back now. He's in the lineup. Average exit velocity, 96.7 miles per hour. Aaron Judge-like. So he's been hitting the ball great for all the injuries to Roman Anthony. But yeah, there's not an opening for him. Obviously, the outfield's full. And I've been saying, okay, maybe an opening on the infield, an injury on the infield. They shift Cedon Rafaela back there, and that would clear the path for Anthony as well. But Marcelo Meyer's been hitting so well at AAA that it might just be neater for if say Trevor Story were to get injured. It might just be neater for the Red Sox to bring up Meyer to fill that opening rather than transition Rafaela to the outfield. So obviously, Anthony, the upside is huge, but it is a complicated situation for him. Not any more complicated than Jordan Lawler, though, who is if Moises Ballesteros isn't the talk of the minor leagues, then Lawler is. Every week, it's becoming more apparent he's just too good for the minors, and he should already have graduated. I mean, he debuted late 2 years ago. It's just he was injured so much of last year that he never got the call. But they've been playing him at second base, shortstop, third base, clearly open to using him at a variety of spots. It's just all those spots are filled with Ketel Marte coming back from injury later this week. And Eugenio Suarez just had the historic 4-homer game, so I don't think he's going to be removed anytime soon. Geraldo Perdomo just signed the extension. The one idea I had is maybe they could shift Corbin Carroll to center field full-time, let Pavin Smith take over in right, which would then free up DH for an infield rotation that would include Lawler. That's a possibility, but that's kind of just me dreaming up scenarios, and I haven't read anything along those lines. So I think for now, Jordan Lawler is going to have to continue to bide his time.
Yeah, and Jordan Lawler, I'm looking at the box score now from Wednesday. 4 more hits down in AAA. He just continues to mash down there. Let's move over to prospects doing something of note lately. And you've got Marcelo Meyer of the Red Sox here, Jacob Misiorowski with the Brewers, Jesus Made with the Brewers, Hunter Barco with the Pirates, and Otto Kemp with the Phillies.
Yeah, so I mentioned Meyer's been hitting very well at AAA. He's already more than halfway to his career high in home runs, exit velocities, and launch angle to back it up. So I think all the talk of him being an elite prospect the past few years is bearing more fruit than ever. Jacob Misiorowski, Logan Henderson may have company as a pitching prospect who needs to break into the Brewers rotation, because Misiorowski is always rated as a higher prospect than Henderson, but he had the glaring flaw of horrible control. Well, his last 2 starts, he's thrown 69% of his pitches for strikes. That is an elite number. 1 combined walk in those 11 innings, still 17 strikeouts in those 11 innings. So it hasn't compromised his effectiveness. It could just be a blip, obviously. We'll need to see many more starts to determine if Misiorowski's really solved his control issue. But I think it at least eliminates the relief concerns that have come up for him in recent years. And yeah, there's an outside chance he actually gets called up ahead of Logan Henderson if the turn falls right when the Brewers decide they need to fill an opening there. Jesus Made was consistently ranked among the top 15 prospects every major publication, even though he hadn't played at a level higher than the Dominican Summer League. Well, now he's at a full season league. He's at low A as a 17-year-old, and he's dominating there. Like he's Jackson Churio, as fast as he moved through the Brewer system, he didn't even reach low A by age 17. So Made is looking like a true prodigy here, and if he's for some reason still available in your dynasty league, you got to pick him up before somebody else does. Hunter Barco of the Pirates, he might be their best pitching prospect once Bubba Chandler gets called up. Yet to allow a run in his 5 starts at AA, 13.1 K per 9, 1.7 walks per 9. He's added a lot of velocity this year, has kind of a funky arm angle from the left side. Hunter Barco, very interesting pitcher. And finally, Otto Kemp of the Phillies, versatile player, good defender, according to the Phillies GM, good base runner. And the power's really played up this year. He remains hot at AAA. could emerge as a super utility type or an injury fill-in. Otto Kemp at some point this year for the Phillies.
All right. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to our full-length podcast, Fantasy Baseball Today, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today Express, and we will be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye.